Well, downsizing in retirement seems like a no-brainer, right? Well, it's not that simple. And today we're in this video, we're going to test some common downsizing beliefs and figure out, are they a good reason to move or should you just stay put? Welcome into Dollars with Dennis. Glad to have you here on the show once more. I'm Ben George with Dennis Hoare, founder and president of Faith 401k and Money Management there, just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, in beautiful Loveland. Dennis, good to see you. How are you today?
Hey, Ben, great. We're having a great day here. Beautiful weather. Can't believe we're getting blessed with such great fall weather.
I know it's been awesome the past month. Really, it's been really good. But we know that that cooler air is right around the corner, so we'll enjoy this while we can. And talking about weather, it's a great way to kind of start off because I think a lot of people, look to move and downsize in retirement. It's kind of the reason why we're talking about this today because I think a lot of people just assume that hey, downsizing makes a lot of sense for me, but it's really not that simple. It's something you really have to think through before you do it, don't you?
For sure. There's so many different questions, and the economy's changed. And right now, the housing prices have made a big difference for people to downsize. So we can go through some of those.
Yeah, let's do that. We got, I think, 10 total, some beliefs that are very common for people that decide to downsize, but as you kind of point out, maybe not the case anymore in today's current environment. So first one is the biggest one, right? A smaller home is going to lower my monthly expenses. It seems like it would make sense then a smaller home, fewer expenses, but does it always play out that way?
Maybe. So depends what you have to pay for the smaller home. What taxes do you have at that point? You can have, we talk about this all the time. You can have your home paid off, but taxes and insurance keep going up to the point where the monthly to cover taxes and insurance are what you used to pay for your mortgage itself, the where you're living now. So if you downsize and move somewhere to a warmer climate, that might be a different factor, but it's just not going to be a lower just because you're in a smaller home. You might have home or HOA fees, stuff like that attached to it. You get less things that you have to do with that smaller home, but is it cheaper? It's not always cheaper, and we have a lot of clients go through this process over the last year or two with higher homes, and then they end up staying in their original home because they couldn't find anything that would change their lifestyle significantly.
Yeah, you got to run those numbers and make sure the expenses actually will drop on that home. What about the equity? I know a lot of times with the home, you build up a lot of equity, right? But you don't have really a way to access that, and especially if you need it for retirement. So, the idea behind downsizing is, look, I'm going to use that equity from my home. I'm going to use that to either pay off debt or maybe even add that to my retirement savings to really boost that number up. So, what have you seen in that regard?
In theory, that would be a great thing to do in 5 years ago. And before, you could do that quite a bit. You could sell your house that you gained all this equity in and have enough money to go buy a smaller home or a condo, something like that, for less money and have money left over to pay other debt off and stuff like that. The last few years has been really tough to do that. The home prices for new homes and mortgage rates or interest rates being higher has made that a more of a challenge than it used to be. So it is not just okay. We're going to go do that, but if you can, some people take their time and work through that. They might be able to get some equity out, even if they stay in their home. Maybe they do a home equity loan and pay a higher interest debt off. That's another way to go through that and get rid of higher bills so that they can be better prepared for retirement.
All right, talking about the truth on downsizing and retirement. And you kind of touched on this a little bit, Dennis, but for those that believe that the housing prices and these mortgage rates right now are going to make it really hard to actually come out ahead when you're downsizing, are there ways to still make it work and make it beneficial for you?
I think there are. It takes a little patience on your part to find where you want to be and get the right zip code, if you will. But there are different parts of town and of the country that are less expensive than where you might be now. If you're wanting to relocate a little bit further out, further down, those kind of things, you can look there. You can go to. I mentioned the condominium. Maybe you go from a house to a condominium. Make sure you factor in the HOA fees and stuff like that. But there are ways to get some downsizing with the home you have and reduce your costs in retirement. Not easy. And I will say that I feel like right now the housing market is slowing down a bit. So this 6 months ago, you listed a house, it was gone in 2, 3 days. Now it seems like they're staying on the market for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and that time is extending out a little bit. Probably why our Fed is talking about maybe lowering rates soon. So we'll see. I think it is slowing down a bit though.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see that a little bit. I think we've seen reports that it's actually now more of a buyer's market than seller's market for the first time in a while. Not that that has made a huge difference because mortgage rates kind of still remain the same, but I think it does give people a little bit, a few more options than maybe they didn't have 6, 8 months ago. Another common belief here for downsizing is that it's better to move now, or especially early in retirement, while you're still physically able to, rather than waiting. Is that a good reason typically to move?
I think that's probably a good reason because you can move, you can do the things you want to do, and be able to help with the move, and find a place that you can be with. Because if you can't get around, then you're relying on other people to help you. Which if you have that, that's great, but it may limit what your opportunities are. But being when you're physically able, we say the same thing about retirement in general. A lot of people will want to travel more when they're early in retirement. They want to do different things like that while they physically can. Same thing with downsizing or relocating your home. I think if you're physically able to do it, that's a better time to do it in your life than waiting later.
Working through this list. What about this one? This is the reason why some people decide not to downsize. They feel like I'm going to lose my support system if I leave the neighborhood I've lived in for decades, and that's a big reason to reconsider moving, isn't it?
It is a big reason, and we see it as much from people that do move. They'll sell and move south for a few years, and then after a few years, one of the spouses die, and they're in a community they don't know a lot of people. All their connections are back here, and they end up moving back to the same area they left. So having that support system around you is a very important part of life, and how we age and go into retirement for sure.
Yeah, you're weighing all these factors before you decide to move, and these are just some of those beliefs that are out there. And I know another one is that downsizing is actually going to give you more time to travel, and less to clean and maintain the home, so it frees up some time for you.
Starting to sound like my wife now. Yeah, so yeah, if you have a smaller home, I think that's probably in theory probably true, but does it give you more time to travel? What I'm finding today is that a lot more people have pets and pets at home, that is limiting their travel because it's not as easy to fly with a pet to go somewhere. And if you can do that, it's going to cost extra. So you might have a little bit more time, less time cleaning, but you have other things that you are filling that time with. And I think pets have definitely been a fill for a lot of people to fill a void for them. But it is limiting their mobility to some extent, which is something a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, for sure. Something to consider there. Again, why you talk with someone that does this every single day that can tell you about their experiences and what they've seen from the people they work with. So get in touch, 401k.faith to learn more. What about, those that feel that, look, I need less space now. I know that's important for me, but I am going to miss when the kids and grandkids come to visit because they can't stay here. I mean, it's hard finding that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's a tough one right there. And given that that's going to be the case, so that's a trade-off. Some people say, well, I'm going to go somewhere fun to live, and so the grandkids are going to want to come, and so I want to have room for them. So that's a consideration when you're doing that downsizing. Do you want to have room for kids and grandkids to stay with you, or would you rather them have to go get a hotel? That's always an option to do that. But the kids and grandkids is important. One of my fun stories is we had a client that she wanted to downsize. She wanted to be somewhere, and she started describing where she wanted to be. She wanted to have a brook or a pond or something like that. She wanted flowers, walking trails, little gardens, and so one of our staff members did some research and really came up with the perfect ideal place for her to go, and we had that already in a PowerPoint when she came in to visit. And funny thing was, she ended up changing her mind and stayed at home. But it was a good exercise to go through. And here's what your life will be like. Here's what you can do. And so talking through that with a professional is always important.
how about this? Do you agree that with the belief that downsizing is going to make your estate plan a little more simple?
I doubt it, but I will tell you, so you don't want the stuff you've been storing forever in your bigger home, and your kids and your grandkids don't want it either. It's like, so that's what we see when somebody passes on and the kids go through all this stuff. It's just stuff that were memories or they kept for whatever reason, and now they're gone, and so those memories aren't there. So I think being able to let go of things as we go would be important, and the estate plan, it shouldn't be affected by most of that stuff to do that. I don't think it simplifies it a whole lot.
All right, here's one too that I know will hit home for people that have moved. It's expensive and it's stressful, and you absolutely have to weigh that, right? I mean, if it's not worth the stress it's going to put on your life to have to uproot and go somewhere else, and again, if you price a moving truck in a while, it's one of those expenses that really will shock you if you're not prepared.
Get back to that ability to be able to help with the physical stuff. It is expensive to move. It's no fun because all the packing and all the sorting, that kind of stuff. It's good exercise to do once in a while, but it's no fun and it's not easy. It's expensive and it is stressful. And some of the stress comes in from, should I keep this? If we move and we don't have room for that there, we have to get rid of stuff. So a lot of things go into downsizing that just not as easy as it sounds from the beginning.
And the last one really here, Dennis, I think this is a good one. Like, I'm not sure my next home's going to feel like this home, right? It's going to really feel like home. And again, you have to be comfortable in retirement and happy with where you are and have that sense of fulfillment. And you might lose that if you leave your home you're in.
I think that's person to person, couple to couple. A lot of people make home wherever they are, and they're very good at doing that and be comfortable with that. Other people, where they are currently, is their home and all their memories are there, and kind of back to that support system and neighborhoods that you've grown up with. It's all so different people take that differently, and it's more important to other people. And some of our job is try to figure out when somebody is looking to downsize, what is most important to them, and what are the things that they can do without, and what are the things that they can't, and they have to prioritize. And that's an exercise that everybody should go through and probably have some help to do, because it's not, leaving your home never feels the same until you do it 4 or 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't want to think about moving 4 or 5, 6 times. And it's never fun. But again, this is a decision really that comes down to much more than just real estate, right? It's about your financial picture, your family dynamic, how you want to spend those retirement years. And that's why you lean on someone like Dennis and the team there at Faith 401k and Money Management to help you understand the pros and cons, the financial picture, the expenses, all these little pieces that all add up to making the right decision that you can feel confident in and happy in retirement. That's what it's all about. This. I know we always hammer home planning. That's where it all begins.
That's why we do the plans, so we can figure out what needs to happen.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching this. Hopefully gives you a few thoughts and ideas, maybe some pushback on the move to downsize. I don't know, but either way, you want to sit down with a professional to discuss it fully and make sure it fits into your retirement picture. But thanks for watching. Please subscribe. We'll talk to you again right here on Dollars with Dennis.
Thanks, Ben. Have a great day.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.